Hello everybody, Luigi Fanquato 1 here once again. Can you believe another year has already come and gone? I certainly can't. And with the end of 2024 on the horizon, it's time for our annual Pokemon plush collection. Last year we made a Poké Wrap because there weren't enough Pokemon to showcase in the collection, but this year we have plenty. So without further ado, let's begin. Starting off with the Pokemon Fit / Sitting Cuties Caterpie. We already have the Burger King versions of both Caterpie and Weedle, but then I realized, we also have the Pokemon Fit version of Weedle. So I got Caterpie to complete the duo. Speaking of Caterpie, here is the Jazzwares Butterfree, one of the more recent additions to the collection. It's not even featured in the entire plush collection, because on the day I filmed that video, I found Butterfree at GameStop. Once then, it was already too late to add him to the collection. Still a very nice looking plush, and probably one of the best looking Butterfrees I've ever seen in terms of plush. Just the way the wingspan looks, it's really nice. Next is the Pokemon Fit / Sitting Cuties Sandshrew. We have two of them, but one of them still has their tag. Pokemon Fit / Sitting Cuties Nidoran Female. Pokemon Fit / Sitting Cuties Nidoran Male. Not really a big fan of the Nidoran line, so that's why it took me so long to get these two, but here they are. Pokemon Fit / Sitting Cuties Vulpix. Sane Pokemon All-Stars Poliwag. Took me a while to find a decent looking Poliwag plush that I actually liked, but I like how this one came out. Pokemon Fit / Sitting Cuties Ponyta. Pokemon Fit / Sitting Cuties Horsey. Again, took me a while to find a decent looking Horsey plush that I actually liked. Pokemon Fit / Sitting Cuties Tauros. Underrated Pokemon in my opinion. Its moveset is one of the biggest, being able to learn moves from up to 14 of the 18 types. However, no, we did not get 30 of them. Don't be silly. Lastly is the Banpresto Lapras plush. I wanted to get me a Lapras that could actually carry other Pokemon on their back, and this one did not disappoint. This is my updated Generation 1 or Kanto Pokemon plush collection. Next up is Generation 2, or Johto. With only 100 Pokemon in this group, it's pretty easy to catch all the Pokemon here, and I do believe we have them all, I think. As for the newcomers, we're going to start off here with the Pokemon Fit / Sitting Cuties Hoothoot, the resident bird of the generation. Pokemon Fit / Sitting Cuties Ladybug. After doing extensive research on every Pokemon and their stats, I've come to the conclusion that no matter what game, Ladybug and Ladian suck. They're like Burmy, but arguably worse. Pokemon Fit / Sitting Cuties Spinarak, easily one of my favorite plush of the group. I think he was translated really well into plush form. I just think he's neat. Sane Pokemon All-Stars Croconaw, the only starter Pokemon plush I got this year, but it's a pretty dang good one. I mean, he looks really nice. Sane Pokemon All-Stars Mareep, very, very fluffy, and in general, a pretty solid Pokemon. Pokemon Fit / Sitting Cuties Flaffy. And this is the Sane Pokemon All-Stars Flaffy. For comparison's sake, there's more details on the Sane All-Star Collection Flaffy. The material is much softer, and she dwarfs the other Flaffy in terms of size. Pokemon Fit / Sitting Cuties Sunkern, or as I like to call it, Just a Seed, because it literally is just a seed, and it has the worst stats in the whole series because it's a seed. Pokemon Fit / Sitting Cuties Pupitar. And last but definitely not least is the Pokemon Fit / Sitting Cuties plush of Nightmare Fuel, aka Miltank, aka Milk Drink, aka Attract. I thought Whitney was okay. This is my updated Generation 2 or Johto Pokemon plush collection. And yeah, I know in the past I've been a little hard on Johto, and for good reason. I mean, why lock so many Pokemon in the Kanto region? Why leave certain evolutionary stones in the Kanto region? Why have so many weak Pokemon at the start of the game? Why is Heracross the only Pokemon worth my time? Because Heracross is amazing. Okay, so after I filmed the Gen 2 segment, 4 new plush showed up at the door, all from Generation 2. Here is Girafarig from the Pokemon Fit / Sitting Cuties line. Magby here is also from the same collection. And from the Sane Pokemon All-Star line, we have both Bayleef and Quilava. Welcome aboard. On to Generation 3, or Hoenn. It's one of my favorite generations personally. It's got a really solid roster of Pokemon across the board with a few stinkers, and it also has some of my favorite spin-offs. Also, according to the Gigaleak, y'all are fake Mudkip fans. Like, really? You'd prefer a rabbit in an inner tube over Mudkip? Like, wow. We're going to start things off with the Pokemon Fit / Sitting Cuties plush of Makuhita. Here's the Pokemon Fit / Sitting Cuties Nose Pass. We have 3. Here's the Pokemon Fit / Sitting Cuties Phoebus, one of my least favorite Pokemon personally, not because it's a Magikarp clone, no. It's because of how you get Phoebus in-game, and in general, evolving this stupid thing I really don't like. Because Magikarp was at least easy to level up. This thing requires you to give it certain poffins to make it beautiful, only to evolve into Milotic, and Milotic's good, I just really don't like Phoebus. And last but not least is the Jazzwares Wailmer. This is a much bigger Wailmer than the one we have, and he was not seen in the final plush collection because we got him at the last minute. He's nice, he's big, he's like a beach ball, and he is, well, good. This has been my Generation 3 or Hoenn Pokemon plush collection. There are only a few plush I need from this group, like the second stage starters and Azurill. Other than that though, I'm not entirely sure if I need anyone else, so go ahead and leave me a comment, let me know who I missed. Right next door, we have Generation 4, or Sinnoh. One of the most popular generations by a long shot, introducing several fantastic Pokemon, great characters, great music, and great games. Not counting Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, those games are kinda garbage. Let's just see what new plush we got, shall we? Starting off, we have this Ambipom from Pokemon Fit / Sitting Cuties. Next up, we have the Pokemon Fit / Sitting Cuties Finian. I don't really care for this one. I mean, what purpose does Finian even serve? It's just a fish. It's not even like, say, a cool looking fish like Gorobus or Huntail, it's just a fish. And the same applies with Lumineon as well, but at least Lumineon looks a little nicer, I guess, but again, they're just fish. Their stats are garbage. Like, why would you ever use this thing when there's plenty of water types in game as it is? Now, if it were a fire type, I get it, but ugh. Let's end this section on a positive by talking about the Banpresto Roserade. This one, in my opinion, is the superior Roserade plush compared to the Sitting Cuties variant. The Sitting Cuties version, I don't know, just the proportions are a little weird, but the Roserade here, even though the plush is chibi-fied, it looks really nice. This has been my updated Generation 4, or Sinnoh, Pokemon plush collection. And the reason why Finian and Lumineon get to join the rest of the Pokemon is simple. Because they're not Burmy. And in recent years, I've actually come to like Mothim a little bit. Why? Because, yes, Mothim is yet another moth, but in recent years I've come to really love moths, and Mothim does have a pretty solid design. Wormadam is but at the very least, neither of them are Burmy, so we're good. Speaking of which, next is my favorite generation of Pokemon, Unova, or Generation 5, primarily because of the unique design Pokemon, making bug types actually fantastic in battle, having great gym leaders, having great music, fantastic villains, and in general just having the most content, especially with Black and White 2. Since we already own every Pokemon from Gen 5 that isn't a legendary, all these plush are repeats. They're all from Pokemon Fit / Sitting Cuties, and 3 out of 4 of them look really good, starting with Sigilyph, who looks fantastic compared to his Banpresto counterpart. Here is Crustle from Mecha Japan. Here is Crocodile from Mecha Japan. And here is Bouffalant, also from Mecha Japan. This is my updated Generation 5 or Unova Pokemon plush collection. Now, the question is, am I going to be improving upon the other Banpresto guys? Maybe. Some of them, like Fracture, definitely needed an upgrade, but then other ones like Volcarona look fine the way they are. Same with ones like Venipede or Darmanitan, and in general I like plush like Clang and just how they look, so we'll see. We'll see. Now for the one you've all been waiting for. The one, the only, Generation 6, the Kalos region, baby's first Pokemon game. Yes, easy difficulty notwithstanding, they have released a ton of new plush for this generation in the form of the Pokemon Fit / Sitting Cuties line. So let's see who we got, shall we? Starting off, we have the one plush that isn't from Pokemon Fit or Sitting Cuties, that being the Pokemon Center Scatterbug. The rest of the plush are all from Pokemon Fit / Sitting Cuties, starting off with Spupa. Next is Vivillon. Here is Fletchling, the resident bird that's actually really good. Here is Fletchinder. One of the most infamous Pokemon ever, Talonflame. Is it because he's bad? Oh no, he's too strong! His amazing typing, his amazing moveset, his power, his speed, he has it all. Here's Bunnelby. I mean, it's just a rabbit. Yeah. Here is Diggersby. Here is Pangoro. Here is Floette. Here is Skiddo. Next is Florges. Next is Bergmite, in my opinion, one of the more underrated Pokemon in the generation, mainly because I don't see a lot of people talking about him, especially in terms of ice types. Here is Aurorus, one of my least favorite fossil Pokemon. In general, I'm more a fan of the heavy hitters, and Aurorus just does not do it for me. Here is Tyrantrum. Next is Heliolisk, who has one of the most unique Pokemon typings. Here is Aromatisse. I didn't really care for the My Pokemon Collection version of this plush, so I settled with this one. Here is Phantump. Next is Avalugg, aka the Ice Coffee Table of Doom. Seriously though, it looks like part of his design got chopped in half, like, what happened? Here is Furfrou. Didn't want to bother getting the extra coats of this Pokemon because I'm not really a big fan of this one. Here is Binacle. Next is Barbaracle, who was one of my favorite designs for the generation, mainly because he goes back to the old Hitmonlee approach of what the heck is that thing supposed to be? And the answer is a Pokemon. Here's Skrelp. On the channel, Skrelp was first seen in the Plankton's Krabby Patty video, seen up here. Finally, a plush of Honedge. That's what we've been waiting for! Next is a Doublade. And here we are, my favorite Pokemon from Generation 6, Aegislash. We do have both versions of this plush, and in general it's because Aegislash is just that cool. Great design, good moveset, great stats, good typing, just 10 out of 10. Here is the female Pyroar. And here is the male Pyroar. Here is the upgraded Malamar, which made me reconsider getting more of the Sitting Cuties line for Gen 5. This plush was also from Mecha Japan. Here is Dragalge, yet another Pokemon that laughs in the face of Charizard for not being a dragon. Until he got Mega Evolution, but that's besides the point. Next is Trevenant, a spooky tree. Spooky. And last but not least is Noivern. I thought Noivern was going to be the pseudo-legendary of the generation, but I was wrong. Also, in terms of collecting these plush, for some reason Noivern was really hard to get when they first released. Not sure why, but here he is. This is my... wait a minute. Where's Klefki? I will rule the... Aha! There you are! This is my updated Generation 6 or Kalos Pokemon plush collection. Of all the collections I have, this one is the closest to completion. We only need Clauncher, Gogoat, Frogadier, and if I'm missing anybody else, go ahead and leave me a comment. Generation 7, or Alola, has gotten no new plush since the new year. It's not like Generation 8 did any better. Galar only got one new plush. One. Who's that Pokemon? It's Milcery from Banpresto. Very soft and small plush, but still a nice addition to the roster. Yeah, that's literally all for Generation 8. Well, I guess the collection for Generation 8 did improve, but primarily for Legends Arceus. All of these plush are from the Pokemon Center, starting with Hisuian Growlithe, Hisuian Arcanine, Hisuian Sneasel. Sad that Weavile isn't in this generation. Weavile is one of my favorites. Instead, we got Lanky Kong over here, I mean Sneasler. Not my favorite Pokemon, but definitely better than Burmy. What's nice about the plush, and I haven't said this for the whole video, surprisingly, the articulation in the neck, in the arms, and in the legs. Hisuian Electrode, Hisuian Braviary, Hisuian Lilligant, also with articulation in her body and in her legs. Hisuian Goodra. For some reason they didn't make one of Sliggoo, but they made one for Goodra. So, okay, sure. Next is Wyrdeer, or Wordeer. An evolution that Stantler needed for quite some time. And finally, Ursaluna. Another fairly solid Pokemon. This is the update to the Hisuian Pokemon plush collection, also a part of Generation 8, but I consider them to be their own thing entirely. Next is Generation 9, or Paldea. We have 6 new plush for the group, starting off with Tandemaus from the Sane Pokemon All-Star collection. These 2 plush are actually attached by the little hook up above. Next is the Jazzwares Finizen plush. A few people in the comments of the Plankton Krabby Patty video commented that this is not Palafin, and to that I say, oops. Yeah, you were right, this is Finizen, not Palafin. Speaking of Jazzwares, here is Lechonk, aka Forced Meme, aka... why? Like, I don't know, I've never liked Lechonk, it's just kinda... oink. Next is Wiglet from Banpresto. Definitely one of the more interesting Pokemon in Generation 9. Speaking of interesting, here is Toedscool from the Pokemon Center with articulation in his very funky looking legs. And finally, one of the greatest Pokemon known to man or beast, it's the Dunsparce. Game Freak really said, oh, you want a Dunsparce evolution? Here you go. Just an extra segment and extra wings. Let's call it a day. Here is my updated Generation 9 or Paldea Pokemon plush collection. And yeah, it's still fairly small, but I honestly don't expect them to release every single Pokemon as a plush right off the bat. Sure, the starters work and a few other Pokemon work, yes, but then after a while they release with time. Here are the 2 oddballs. Didn't know where to put them, so here they are. It's Red and the Evil Teddy Bear. And last but definitely not least, your favorite category and mine, the Legendaries, the Mythicals, and the Ultra Beasts. Sure, some people don't consider the Ultra Beasts to be legendaries, but I feel like they're too significant to not include them here, so here they are. We got 7 new plush for this section, 3 from Mecha Japan, and 4 from the Pokemon Center. We'll start with the trio from Mecha Japan, starting with Entei. All 3 of these plush come from the Sane All-Star line. Here is Raikou, and Suicune, my personal favorite of the 3. I finally have these guys in my collection at long last, and I have Mecha Japan to thank. The next 3 are all from Pokemon Fit / Sitting Cuties, starting with Cresselia, Deoxys in his normal form, and Zygarde in its complete form, which looks really nice. Surprisingly, they were able to compress this plush into a small size, but looks pretty good. Finally, last but definitely not least, it's Hecharunt, the evil little peach from the DLC for Scarlet and Violet. This plush comes to us from Pokemon Center, and dang, he looks really good. He's solid. I like the material used on the inside of the plush. The design is just really nice, and in general, it just looks good. Really good. Hey everyone, Luigi Fan Post Editing here, and these plush are not going to show up in the final collection update, mainly because they were trying to wake up Snorlax, who did not show up in time for the video. He just wanted to feel special about himself, delay several plush, and prevent them from showing up at the end of the video. I hope you're proud of yourself, Snorlax! This is my updated Pokemon plush collection for 2024. Now, this year we've had the Giga Leak, which was the leaking of many Pokemon-based files, which many of them I found to be really interesting, especially the ones for Generation 3 in particular. Although I'm curious to know what's going to happen for Pokemon in the future going forward. I'm excited to know what they're going to do for Legend ZA, considering the fact that Zygarde is one of my favorite legendaries, and we finally get to see an expansion for Pokemon X and Y. Now for the Q&A section of the video. Do you have a favorite Pokemon? The answer is yes. That honor goes to Heracross. My least favorite Pokemon should be pretty obvious. It's Barmy. Do you have a favorite generation? As mentioned before, Generation 5. My least favorite's probably Generation 8. Sure, Gen 9 also had glitches and bugs, but at the very least it had a better Pokédex, a better story, and better characters. Another question is, do you have a favorite legendary? The answer is yes. Surprisingly, it's Regigigas. And the reason for that is because I just think he's funny. It's like this powerful beast, creator of the Reggies, and yet he can't get started because of slow start. It's hilarious. I mean, I feel bad for the guy, sure, but it's still really funny. And there's lots of memes online about Regigigas that I also really like. Really, all of the Reggies are good, and I really like them. They're just so dumb, but in the fun way. Next question, is there a plush you would like to get from any generation? The answer to that would be Kommo-o from Generation 7. Mainly because Kommo-o is the only pseudo-legendary that isn't from Gen 9 to not get their own plush. And really, with a few exceptions, Gen 7 is really lacking in terms of plush. Another question is, can Cramorant attack the camera again? And the answer to that is, wait, what? Sorry about that. Another question is, where do you get the plush? The answer is eBay, but there's also various Japanese auction sites. I recommend Mecha Japan personally. Mercari's okay, but they have a lot of fees as of recent, and Pokemon Center provided me with the worst shipping ever. Pokemon Center was good, but now it just seems like they don't care about their items. I mean, when I receive a partially open box in the mail, you know you have a problem. The most common question I get on nearly every video is, what happened to Pokemon All-Stars? The answer is the show is on hiatus, but it's for a good reason. I've been filming nearly every episode behind the scenes. It's also why I ordered so many Hisuian Pokemon in the first place. And some of you may be wondering, well, what is that project? What are you going to use them for? And the answer is, you're going to have to wait and find out for yourself. Well, I've run out of stuff to say again, which seems to be pretty common at the end of these videos. So until next time, this is Luigi Fan Quado 1 signing out, saying see you guys later, thank you for watching, see you in 2025, and have yourselves a fantastic day.